Welcome back to All Things MCC. I am one of your hosts, Seapeekay, and today it's time for the All Things MCC team analysis and roundup video for MCC 21. That's right, in this video, we're going to go through all the teams that are going to be in MCC 21, talk about how I think they're going to do, strengths and weaknesses, and of course, the top 10 placements of Fury that everybody loves to go wild about if I get them wrong. So without further ado, let's look into the teams that have been made for this event. Leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new, and let's do it. So first up, we have the return of the Crimson Krakens. That's right, it's Kratzy, Captain Sparkles, Kara Corvus, and Krinios. It's another iteration of this team. We've seen it a few times in the past, and we know that they have great chemistry, and it's going to be a really fun and strong team to watch. Now, what I think is a very, very interesting stat is that if you were to take the overall averages of all the teams, this is on average the strongest team in the whole event, coming in with an average score of 9184. However, if you were to take season 2 averages, which some would argue are a fairer representation of recent skill, they're actually the lowest placed average team with an average of 7863, meaning there is a massive disparity, and who knows where they're going to come out. This team has the potential to do very well, of course. It's easy to say third place team because of Captain Sparkles and his blasted curse. But when you see all the teams that are in this event, you're going to see why this is such a competitive one. So Crimson, first team up. And the next team is the Orange Ocelots. It's Illumina, Filza, Shovel, and Elena. Now, Shovel has been in practically every event, so you get an absolute wealth of experience there. With Elena being quite the opposite and actually only having one event under their belt, but they did do great in that first event. And then you have the Illumina duo, which I think people were very, very excited about. I think it's hard to imagine this team not coming somewhere in the top 3. I think it is very powerful, and potentially if Illumina pops off, we could see the first ever back-to-back individual first place placements. If Filza can do what he normally does, this team are going to be incredibly powerful, and I am absolutely fearful of this team in Rocket Spleef Rush. But I don't think this team is going to have many weak games, which is why I can definitely see them coming out somewhere near the top. But by the time I get to my top 10, that could all have changed. Who knows? Next up, we have the Yellow Yaks, made up of fruit berries, smallish beans, Fwip, and Ren. Again, this is another team that I think is really powerful. Joel is especially coming to his own in season 2, and Fwip puts up really good numbers too, combined with Ren, who is a veteran, and Fruit Berries, who is just constantly in a pop-off era, it seems. This team is absolutely one that should be feared. Now, the cool thing here is the overall average score, they come in at 8809, and that would put them in 3rd place. What's cool is that their season 2 average is actually only 8475, which would put them in 4th place. So not too much disparity between season 1, season 2 averages, meaning that we've got a team with a good consistency. I can imagine the vibes are going to be great, and this team's going to pop off especially in games like Parkour Tag. If we see the return of SG, it's always frightening to see Fruit in that game. So basically every team could pop off at this point. Next up, we have Lime, which is Pizza Hut, the return of Good Times with Scar, Solidarity, and Grian. Now, we've seen Grian and Pete together. We've seen Jimmy and Grian together. People really wanted Grian and Scar, and I believe Grian was unavailable last event, so it was pretty certain it was going to happen in this one. Probably the friendliest and best vibes team in the entire event, potentially even in MCC's history. If you take the overall averages, they are the weakest team statistically that's been announced so far. But again, if you take the season 2, that's not quite the case. I think with Pete's leadership, this team can do incredibly well in games like Sands of Time, and Grian always has some sort of pop-off arc in Sky Battle as well. This really is another one of those events that the game order, I think, is going to make a massive difference, and only time will tell who's going to come out on top. And the final team of day 1 was the Green Geckos, made up of Dream, Tommy Innit, Sylvie, and Niachu. Now, I think after the last event, when it came out that Dream was essentially texting Tommy and messaging Tommy through the event, giving him tips and things that can help him, that this is a team that a lot of people wanted to see. Obviously, there's a lot of history between them on the Dream SMP, a little bit of disc duo action going on. And of course, it's good to see Niachu and Sylvie back in as well. I know in the last event, I teamed with Nikki, and Nikki was on a big practice arc and did great in the event, and will be looking to push even further in this one, I'm sure. Sylvie is a very, very strong player, especially through season 2. But this team is statistically the 2nd weakest team in the event based on season 2 and overall averages. But we all know that Dream's been in plenty of situations where his team gets predicted 8th, 9th, 10th and still goes on to win the event, so let's not put anything past this team. That would wrap up day 1 of team announcements, meaning that day 2 starts with my favorite team in the entire event. That's right, it's Cyan, made up of Sapnap, Seapeekay, Snifferish, and Critic Zeus. Now, this team I'm super excited for. First of all, I got to team with Sapnap because obviously we were supposed to team last event, but Sapnap sadly, I think, had like a double ear infection or double burst eardrums or something, so he could not play. I'm glad that we got the chance to run it back a little bit. We haven't teamed since MCC 14, and it's always a blast to team with Sapnap, so I'm looking forward to some big pop-offs. First new member in this MCC is Snifferish. I know Sniff from, we're both on Misfits Gaming, and I know that Sniff is an incredible builder. I will say right now, I do not know much about how great Sniff is at other things, but we will find out because there will be practices. And I'm very excited to be teamed with Zeus. Zeus's first time as a solo simmer and coming off the back of essentially a 5-month practice arc. I think that we genuinely have a really good shot at winning this event. Numbers are not going to be kind to us. Our overall average, we're the weakest team in the event with a score of 7976. But with just season 2, we jump up a couple places, all right? So I think with the right games, a little bit of pop-off, and a possible avoidance of build mart, we can do well in this event. Next up, we have the Aqua Ocelots made up of Antfrost, Bad Boy Halo, G Nelly, and JoJo Solos. Antfrost coming off the back of a big win in the last event. And after very quickly checking the MCC wiki, Bad Boy Halo also coming off the back of a win on a team with me back in MCC 16. G returns, likely looking to improve on previous performances. And we get the legend, JoJo Solos, in their first canon event. We've seen them in MCC Rising. We've seen them in MCC All-Stars. Can they put up the same kind of numbers in the main event? If they can, and I honestly think that this team kind of hinges on how well JoJo does in this event. No pressure, JoJo. But we know Antfrost is going to have the whole team doing VOD reviews. And it all comes down to, can JoJo put up the same numbers in the main event as they could in the non-canon events? If they can, this team can go on to do massive things. I really do think it hinges on that. Time will tell. Time will tell. And it's great to have JoJo in the event, of course. We're getting close to the end now, and we got the Bluebats. We got 5-Up, Tubbo, Jack Manifold, and Purpled. Now, this is a scary team. 5-Up, again, coming off the back of a win with Antfrost previously, and Purple doing really well for a first event. But I know that Purpled says that they can do better. So if they can, this team has serious potential. Jack Manifold, again, I believe has had a strong season 2. And Tubbo, I think, stays relatively consistent. I do think 5-Up's going to take the lead. And it'll be interesting to see how this team does in games like Build Mart. I think games like Battlebox, etc., they're probably going to have unlocked. So 5-Up's leadership skills will be put to the test here, I believe. And it's going to be an absolute blast to see what they do. The second to last team, we got Puns, Awesome Dude, Smager, and Ponk. Let me tell you, I'm always excited when Ponk's in the event, man. We love Ponk here. An almost entirely Dream SMP team. Puns is having the season 2 of his life. He is popping off in every single event. It really is great to see. And we get the return of Sam and Ponk, who I think have been consistent and should be coming somewhere between sort of 15th to 25th place. I think the real difference maker here is Scott, actually. I think if Scott has one of his pop-off events, this team can very, very easily win. Purple are the second strongest team on overall averages and the number 1 strongest team based on season 2 averages. I don't think they'll let the pressure get to them at all, and I think we can see them absolutely dominating in PvP games, providing they get a few strats and a little bit of leadership down before going into the event. And your final team for this one, Pink Parrots. We got Rambo, Wilbur, George, and Sneeg. Now, I could be wrong, but I think this marks the first time that all 3 members of the Dream Team have been on completely separate teams. Now, again, I could be wrong. Feel free to tell me if I am in the comments. But it's cool to see that they're all in the event, but they're not teaming together. The amount of memes that will come from this team, I think, will be phenomenal. One of them is absolutely going to say weird dunk to me at some point during this event. And they are statistically the second strongest team based on season 2 averages. And Sneeg's average really isn't a fair representation of his ability because he had that one really bad event and has been grinding up ever since. So excited to see them. Could we see a pink W? Potentially. If the right games come around, we absolutely could. It's going to be a real fun one to watch no matter what. Especially if we get a new Ace Race map. Imagine if we get a new Ace Race map. Wilbur's viewership through the roof. To the moon. But now I'm going to take some time, work out what I think my 10 placements are, pop them up on screen, and then we'll have a little look at this little team builder here so you can see everything that I can see when I'm making the teams. And I'll be right back any second. So as you can see, we are now on the main screen of the team builder. And what I've done is just sorted this by season 2 average. So if you took the season 2 average alone, this is where everyone would stack up. You can see it's actually pretty close. You can see here, overall, the range is 1,208 coins. And I can assure you that, again, this was another super difficult prediction to make. Last time, I really only gave my top 5, and I was repeatedly called a coward. This time, I will take the full brunt of the verbal abuse that everyone will give me for making the guesses that I have made. Because this time I am backing my team wholeheartedly. All right, here we go. I got yellow getting first, cyan coming second. That's right, I'm backing myself. Orange, green, aqua, purple, pink, blue, lime, crimson. People are going to be mad no matter what I put here. So these are my 10. I'm locking them in for now. I will give an updated one a day before the event after I've seen everybody practicing. But for now, based on a number of different decisions, this is where I'm at. I would love to see your guys' top 10 in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. I have been Seapeekay. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, make sure to subscribe because we're so close to 100,000 subscribers. So if you love all things MCC, then drop us a subscription. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Seapeekay, one of the hosts, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.